Fantastic! Welcome one and all to the GT Consult peek behind the curtain to increased SharePoint ROI, or as they well known, return of investment. So today, as the story goes, we are GT Consult and we are a everything SharePoint company. But more recently, we focus on enabling productivity across the Microsoft Business Productivity Stack, which means we cover SharePoint and Office 365. We have been in the business now for over 4 years. We have branches all over the world, and we specialize in a number of key areas within SharePoint. Specialize in branding and implementation, business intelligence, collaboration and social, comms, blogs, wikis, document management, workflow, support, security, governance, search, configuration, and insight development. Pretty much every single vertical within the SharePoint stack. Through the years, we've even developed our own products, such as SharePoint Vitals, which we'll be talking about today, one-time PIN for two-factor authentication in Office 365 and SharePoint on-premise. We're Nintex specialists. We are Microsoft Gold partners. We have business critical SharePoint affiliations, and of course our pride and joy, Lindy, our SharePoint support offering, and Office 365 SharePoint online management. So without any further ado, let's see what is happening in our agenda today. What is ROI, or once again, return of investment? How can return of investment be calculated? SharePoint solution return of investment scenario, user adoption return of investment scenario, challenges with out-of-the-box SharePoint, and the SharePoint Vitals demo. Right, let's get straight into it. What is return of investment? Well, in layman's terms, return of investment is simply return of money over time. It's the reason why a good business decision compares to a bad business decision. In any scenario, whenever you invest in any type of business, whenever you invest in any type of idea or anything in business, you want to invest either time or money, and with that time or money, you want some type of return, either time or money. When we look at return of investment, we need to figure out the most important bit. We need to figure out how to calculate it. Unless you are unable to calculate the return of investment, you are unable to see if it was worth your while in investing, right? So, to calculate a return of investment, the benefit or return of the investment is divided by the cost of the investment, and the result is expressed as a percentage or a ratio. The return on this investment formula, in the above formula, gain from the investment refers to the proceeds obtained from the scale of the investment interest. So, if we look at a everyday kind of scenario, hours times people divided by their salaries gives you an investment cost. So, if you have 10 employees that are baking bread for you in your bakery, and you pay them all $100 a day, you need to then make more than $1,000 a day in selling of bread to make your investment worthwhile. That is your return of investment. So let's look at how this actually works in the real world. This is super important. So let's have a look here. We've got a bunch of accountants. These accountants spend an average of 2 hours a day chasing clients for payment. We know the scenarios. They're hunting down their clients that have not paid over a specific amount of time, and they need to do this 2 hours a day every single day. In this scenario, there are 3 accountants, and they are chasing every single day. So if we do the math, we can look at that as 3 accountants, 72 hours per month, at 62 Rand per hour equals 54 1,000 Rand per year. Yes, we're using the Rand because we're in South Africa. If we were anywhere else in the world, we'd simply rub out the R's and put in another type of dollar or pound sign. Right, so 72 hours per month at 62 Rand per hour equals 54,000 Rand per year with that amount of cost. So it's costing this specific department that much money a year to chase for clients. So your return of investment to get money back or an option to create a solution for this is simple. You need to create a solution that reduces the amount of time for the amount of money that you have on the table. But it's not this simple. Obviously, this also then will free up those accountants to spend on areas like checking out how the books are working in the company, maximizing profit in other areas, and therefore letting them do what they can do. So putting in a scanning solution or an automated workflow solution to pester clients for payment once they have not paid is a great idea. Or even farming this out to a third party who would do it for half the price, again, a great idea. Anything less than 54,000 Rand per year and you're winning. Absolutely. So what other scenarios can we look at in a SharePoint environment? Let's have a look. If we look at user adoption in a return of investment scenario on SharePoint, this is a good one. Employees spend at least 5 minutes deciding what they want to eat at a cafeteria. Now, nobody likes this scenario. You walk into the cafeteria, there's a guy in front of you staring at the menu, trying to figure out what it is he wants to eat. And all you need to do is quickly duck in, get your food, eat it, and get back to work. However, this certain menace is causing an issue. Now, in a good scenario, what would happen is they would be offered the menu beforehand and they would be able to choose as to what they would like, order it, and then go sit down and be served. Obviously, we don't all live in this type of utopia. However, if you have a SharePoint environment, which you most probably do because you're joined this webinar, and if you're joining this webinar for any other reason, welcome. It will be entertaining. I will give you the answer of create a menu with the SharePoint list and have a link on the landing page. So simply, as soon as employees jump on the internet in the morning, they'll have a look and they'll see. There's the menu. I want franken beans because it's delicious. Or I want the cottage pie. They can spend their 5 minutes at their desk deciding which one they want. And based on that, they can then take it from there. Obviously, making the decision beforehand, thus saving 5 minutes a day. At 1,000 employees, at 5 minutes a day, you're saving the company already 5,000 minutes a day, which is a lot of franken beans. So, now we're in business. Now we know how to create a return of investment scenario. However, this comes with a challenge. How did we know this guy was spending 5 minutes unless we were behind him? Obviously, this is a problem. You can't be behind everyone. So we have to average it out, or we have to see if people are actually accessing the site and for how long they were accessing the site to give us some actual facts. So we'll get back to that. We'll swing right back to that. But let's have a look at another scenario. Internet usage stats show that almost 50% of the office check weather reports. 50%. That is a massive number. So every second person in the office gets to work and looks at the weather from their computer. Now, I understand. I get that. I usually just check it in the morning, but it is what it is. If that is the case, you're having most of your staff log on to their preferred weather application online, download that information. Why they don't look outside, I'm not quite sure. However, this is stats and we can't argue with stats, people. Internet usage stats show that 50% of them check the weather report. Now they're checking the weather reports and the weather says that the sun is shining, it's raining, it is what it is. However, 50% of them are checking this as soon as they get to work instead of working. Or they're checking for the next day in terms of what they need to wear. Whatever it is, if they're checking it for the weekend to see if they're going to have a bra or if they're going to sit in, it is what it is. They need to find out this information. So this is for free, a free tip for everyone. Add the weather for the employee's location on the landing page. All right, fantastic. You've added it, and you can put it in a nice little audience targeted location so that depending on where these people are coming in from, it shows them their weather. Fantastic, phenomenal. Now you're showing everyone the weather. They've got one location, saving them some time. But how do you know everyone's going to the site? How do you know people aren't still going to their own space? Again, we'll come back to that. We'll swing right round and come back to that in a little bit. Another one. Research shows that employees spend at least 2 hours a week searching for information that is readily available internally. That means Bob spends 2 hours looking for the leave policy a week. And maybe not just the leave policy, maybe he looks for something else, but he spends 2 hours looking for it. How does he look for it? He most probably asks 2 or 3 co-workers whilst looking at the cafeteria menu, or he will get on the phone and he will ask the secretary or the reception, or he will go through the entire site of files and his induction to the company, but he'll look everywhere. And I promise you, after those 2 hours, he'll find the information and he'll go, oh, excellent, this is how I apply for leave. Fantastic. Bada bing, bada boom, he'll go ahead. However, if he's spending 2 hours a week on every little bit of information that is readily available, he's wasting company time. So there's a massive need there for return on investment. And we have a number of options. The first one is we can obviously add a tweak to the search page. Excuse me. This will make a huge difference. So as soon as we know that Bob is looking for the sick leave, we can add a link, or we can make it more readily available in search. But the important item over here is, how do we know without asking? And how do we know what Bob is doing in order to find it without sitting down with everyone? So you've got a big company, you don't have a lot of time, you need to start figuring out how this all works. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, let's put everything on SharePoint. It makes a lot of sense, fantastic. But are people using it? And how do we tell if they're using it? And how do we get that information back so we can pump it into our return of investment? Let's have a look. What are the challenges with out-of-the-box SharePoint? Well, first of all, they stole the analytics from us. They gave it to us in 2010, and then they said, well, guys, you know what? We thought it was KIF, but now we're removing it. So they took away in 2013 what they gave in 2010, and on Office 365, they gave us a nice little pop-up little block at the top there that says Views 110. They don't tell you where they came from. They don't tell you when they came in. All they say is this was viewed 110 times. And all we know is it could have been Bob 110 times. So it limited the details, which everyone here knows is the most important bit, the details. So what else? What else have they not given us? The geolocation. So we have 10 offices around the country. Bob's looking for something. Where is Bob coming in from? Nobody knows. There's no geolocation. We just know that he's looking. It could be from Papua New Guinea to Australia to Singapore. We don't know. But Bob apparently is looking for something somewhere. Fantastic. Great. Where in the site is Bob looking? Oh, he's looking under site pages, site collection to Bob's Your Uncle pages layouts. No, that doesn't help us. We need to know how he's navigating the site. There's no site map. So again, we need to have more information. Another scenario could be we're in a hybrid environment where Bob is on the internet most of the time, and then the other half, he's on the Office 365 internet. We've got a great hybrid solution. How do we get the details of where Bob is looking? So We don't. We don't know right now. There's not one central location where we can get that information. So, let me just have a sip of water here. All right. The people that are accessing the site via a mobile device, are they getting the best experience? Look, I can tell you right now, if you haven't tweaked your site, they're not. SharePoint is not a great mobile friendly space. That feature that says make it mobile pretty much strips away everything in the site. So if you've done anything custom or made anything good looking on like a wiki site or anything like that, it's stripped away. So if they are accessing it from mobile, what are they accessing and what are they experiencing? You have no idea until you've done it yourself. Another thing, who's working from home? You get a certain someone that emails and says, hey, I'm not working, my dog's sick, Bob's dog's sick, he needs to stay at home, and he's working from home. How do you actually know if he is or not? Or if he's just sending fluffy emails every 5 minutes to look inconspicuous? And of course, this was always an issue. I wanted to find out if Bob was doing this 6 months ago. In any type of SharePoint analytics in the past, 6 months ago means nothing. That's right. You could only take up to 3 months worth. So that's a huge issue. How do we resolve these issues? We need to find out about return of investment in our environment. We need to find out about all the solutions that we've thrown out there. We need to make sure that we can show our managers, look, we rolled out this fantastic cafeteria menu. It has now attracted 1,000 employees. They spend 10 minutes a day on this site. Number one, they are no longer standing in the queues causing traffic jams. Number two, we have advertising space internally that we can use so we can promote new marketing ideas, new events from the cafeteria menu because it's a draw card. Number three, we can tell you that the guys spend more time on here than they do on their monthly timesheets. Why is that? Well, maybe food interests them. However, you know something now that you didn't know before. Your boss is going to do backflips. You're going to be a hero. All right, so how do we get this information? Fantastic. Let's have a look. First of all, SharePoint Vitals. This is what it's all about. SharePoint Vitals. Now, SharePoint Vitals is a GT Consult custom-made application for SharePoint and SharePoint Online. All the SharePoints, we have been covering them all. What we do is we have a little WSP, you deploy it, it sends all of your information to a secure Azure cloud storage system where you can log into and see all the results of your entire intranet. Now, this is where things get exciting. First of all, you can see over today, last week, last 2 weeks, last month, last 2 months, last 3 months, and all-time results of your entire intranet, or your entire farm, or your entire hybrid environment. This is important, people, because that means over all of your applications, you can see where you're getting the most out of your SharePoint. You can see straight away graphically top 10 page hits from your entire farm collection. Who's hitting what and why are they hitting it? You can see the top 10 visited sites, the top 10 active users, the top 10 fastest users and the top 10 slowest users. Why is that important, people? Top 10 fastest users. You want to see what type of experience your users are having when hitting your site. This is important. If they're having a 500-second load time, you know that's why they're not visiting the site. You know why that's a problem. You can find out, hey, are you accessing it from your old grandmother's 56K dial-up modem when you go home? Or what? And you can see the performance enhancements on some pages when you start to see the average page load time increase. So now you've got some proper information. What else, they ask? Well, let's dig a little deeper into the other areas. First off, the top 10 dashboard. That's fantastic. I want to see a little bit more now. I want to have a look at page hits. I want to see how many page hits the most popular pages are today. Straight away, I hit this button, comes up, it says, hello, page hits, page URL. The Lindy Pages dashboard has got 18,720 hits in a day. That's a pretty important site. So what does this mean? Number one, your return on investment for making that site is a win, no matter which way you look at it. Fantastic. But what does that also mean? It means that page is more than your landing page by a big margin. Your landing page is only 43 hits. So what does that mean? People have put a bookmark on there and they've gone directly there. That's huge. So let's have a look as to why. And you can click on that, open it up, and go into that site and see what you can do there. That gives you place for marketing. That gives you place for more return of investment by creating more links, more how-tos. It is your actual portal's location. Phenomenal. What else can we get out of this now that we got everyone excited? Let's have a look at the sites. Which sites are the most popular? Not just pages, actual sites. Tell me in my SharePoint site which one's the most. And have a look at this. Today, these are the top sites. And by looking at it, Lindy takes the win again. Lindy's always busy. But there's a couple other sites there that are important. And say we ran a marketing campaign on the RealTime page or on Empire. Phenomenal. Let's have a look. Empire is up in the top 3. We at least now know that something's happening there. Fantastic. Now, let's have a look at something a little bit more attractive. I want to know what users are going to what sites. So let's have a look. Active users. From last week, support has been a busy bee. 47,000 hits. That is phenomenal. And a close following by Arno. So now we can see who the busiest are in the company. Number one, this opens the door for us to have ninjas, which are SharePoint ninjas, guys that can start to influence other players in the team. So as soon as you start to get these guys that really know their way around SharePoint, why not introduce Arno to Greg? Greg's right down at the bottom there with 204. Arno's up there with 10,000. Arno, maybe spend some time with Greg. Maybe he has a problem clicking around, or maybe he's not understanding something. Let's share something. Let's start to find more return of investment by training people and giving people that do know their stuff help out other people that don't. Phenomenal. Now we can see what's going on. Now we can really see what's going on. But I want to see more. I want to see what Arno's done. Well, let's go to my stats. Let's see what I've done for the last month. So this is real-time kind of stats as well. So I can follow me around immediately throughout the site. I can see, okay, bada bing. I haven't been doing too much at the moment, but I'm jumping around Lindy. I'm having a look at features. I'm having a look at permissions. I can see I went from permissions to manage features to I was obviously switching things on and off there. I went from the GT Consult Wazi site to the Lindy site. I was there for a few seconds, and I was the page load time was always around 1 second, so I had a pretty good experience. This is Insights. So now I can track my users as to what information I've given them. Really, really quality stuff. But I need to now export this because someone went from this area to this area, and now I want to map this out, but I also want to show someone else in the company this information. And so what I really need to do is export this to Excel. No problem. Click the top right button, the top button in the right hand corner under search, bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Can export user history. So now I've exported all of my user history to Excel, and I can do what I want with it. I can make a pivot, I can make a chart, I can move things around. Phenomenal. I have pure data of all of my information from all of my analytics in SharePoint in one place. Now, we've looked at all of this and we thought, do you know what would be absolutely insane? Is if we could show a site map of data, if we could show the actual footprints of the users throughout the site. Well, I tell you what, this is going to blow your mind. We've created the site maps for all of the organizations. So I work for GT Consult, and at GT Consult we've got a number of URLs that we participate in. Uwazi, Prod, Sandbox, gtturbo.sharepoint.com. All of these are available to us. Now I can start to track who's doing what on where. So I switch on Brad. I want to check to see what Brad's doing for the last month. I know that we had a migration the month previous and we moved all of Brad's stuff to Office 365. Let's make sure he's only using his Office 365 stack. I open this up. I can see Wazi is grayed out. I can see his Sandbox is grayed out, and Brad is only using GT Turbo. And phenomenally, he's going through the demo. He's going through Teams. He hasn't hit the governance or the training yet, but that's not a problem because he's using the bits and pieces of information that he needs. And I can see that he uses finance a lot, and I can see he uses the demo site a lot. And that's what I want to see. I want to see exactly what he's doing in one easy location. The amount of lines of data that he can see from this one page is over 5,000, folks. There's no way you can see visually from looking at a spreadsheet or export to Excel in this view. This gives you the entire view of what Brad is doing on the SharePoint environment within GT Consult in one simple view. This is your return of investment right here. Are our users getting the maximum out of the sites that we are doing? You know, back in the day where they used to roll out that this site, is the site being used, do you want to delete it functionality from SharePoint? Do you know that they don't actually check to see if you're using it? It's just a little timer job that sends you an annoying message every month to say, do you want to delete this? And then some nonna is going to push yes one day and is going to delete your landing page site collection. This is a problem. This, for SharePoint Vitals, is the fix. Now you can get that annoying email and actually reference it to SharePoint Vitals and go, hey, are we using that site? Let's have a look. And bada bing, bada boom, you can put the information in and you can get a sitemap to see what's being used and what's not being used. If it's not being used, you can give them an accurate answer to say, you know what, archive that site collection. It doesn't seem to be used for the last 3 months. I don't think anyone's going to miss it. But you were never able to do that before. Now, let me throw you another curveball. Where are these users coming in from? I can see that Brad's a mobile worker. He travels the globe. Let's have a look and see what happens when we click on him. Whoop! Brad's been a busy bee. He's jumped all over the world. So straight away we can see that we've had access points from Washington, Seattle, Cape Town, South Africa, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Kimberley and Johannesburg from one single geolocation map. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is a game changer. Now we know where people are accessing our SharePoint environment from. So we can now see exactly what people are doing and when they're doing it. More importantly, I'm going to drill into this to give you a better understanding as to why this, my friends, is super, super important. Let's have a look here. Okay, I'm going to jump into my heat map. I want to see exactly who is coming in from where. So, if I zoom into South Africa, I can see now there's a lot of pins going on here. But I want to zoom into Durban. This is me. Fantastic. Let's have a look at. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so there's 4 access points for the Durban folk here. Phenomenal. Let's see who's who in the zoo, right? So I'm going to click on one of these bad boys and it's going to bring back, fantastic, we're in. About an hour ago, Brahm connected. About 2 hours ago, Brad and Brahm were jumping around Lindy. What does this give you? This gives you massive return of investment. Straight away, you can see who's who, what are they connecting to, where are they coming in from. This changes the game, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, you saw it first here at GT Consult webinar. As soon as we zoom out, we can have a look at other areas. Let's see who's doing who in Johannesburg. Looks like we've got a lot of connections in Joburg. Guys are running around a bit. There's a couple in Pretoria. There's a couple up in Centurion. if we jump into this, there's even some in the south. Let's see. If we look at that, Nokwando is jumping on 12 hours ago, so she's obviously jumped on from home, had a look and saw what was going on. Fantastic. This is real information, real good looking stuff. Let's have a look at what else we can have a look at here. I'm going to jump onto my sitemap, and Brad has jumped onto uwazi.gtconsult.com. Fantastic. Look at the different site collections that he could jump into. He's jumped into Lindy. When he was at Lindy, there's an analytics page. There's a couple of lists that he had to look at. The help desk list was the most popular, and he was looking at all items 3 times. So now we can start to understand through jumping through the entire sitemap who's who and what they're looking at. How are they getting to this information? Now I want to take a switch and I want to go and check what Brahm's checking out. Same time, let's generate that bad boy. Let's bring back Brahm's information, and in a flash we will be able to get that information. Remember that this is looking through hundreds and thousands of records to bring back important information. Whilst that's checking out what's happening with Brahm, let's quickly jump into a number of other sites. Let's have a look at. Let's go see what active users Brahm has been up to in the last few days. So I want to find, there we go. There's Brahm. We're going to click on Brahm. We're going to jump in here. We're going to change this to beginning of the month for Brahm. And we're going to say, right, bring me back what Brahm's been checking out. And in a flash, 6 minutes ago, Brahm's been on the dashboard. And it looks like he's been updating his rag list. It looks like he's had a few issues on the help desk. But Brahm's been busy. Fantastic. Let's have a look at some more. If we come back to our sitemap here, this is built out for Brahm. Brahm's been spending some time on the Lindy site collection. You can see what list he's been looking at. He's been looking at the help desk and his rag, his red, amber, green list, which is hopefully updated. Yep, he's edited the form 4 times today. So he's been a busy boy. Right, what does this mean for return of investment? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this means now when you put up that cafeteria menu, you've got an option to find out who's checking it out, when are they checking it out, where are they checking it out from, how many users are checking it out, and you can put your return of investment stat in, because without how many people it is affecting and how much time they're spending on it, you have no formula. You are unable to create that formula. So going back to our initial formula, it is super important to get to the point where you can figure out what the formula is in terms of what you need to show. And so let's have a look at this again. The return of investment is hours times people divided by their salaries. Gives you how much your return of investment is. For any project, if you look at it, if it's going to cost you $1 million, think about it. Okay, it's going to cost me $1 million. But how much is it going to save me, and over how much time is it going to save me? And do the numbers. SharePoint Vitals will give you the numbers. It will tell you the numbers once you've done the investment. You need to work out from the beginning how much that investment's worth. You could even use SharePoint Vitals straight away from the beginning to find out if you're getting any return for investment on your current investment within SharePoint. Then you do your calculation, bada bing, bada boom, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you're going to get hours times people divided by salaries equals investment cost. All you want to do is bring that investment cost down the second time you do that calculation after your solution. Now, what SharePoint Vitals can't do for you is create you that solution. GT Consult can. So speak to us if you need that. However, what it will do for you is give you phenomenal analytics. It will give you everything you need to manage your entire site. It will give you all the page URLs hits. It will give you all the top visited sites. It will give you all the active users throughout your entire company. It will give you drill down information into each one of those users' history. It will give you export to Excel when needed. I know everybody loves that. It's going to give you a unique experience to see all of that information in a site map view, and then it's going to tell you where these individuals are logging in from. And it's all for free. That's right. You can download the SharePoint Vitals app from our website today for nada. Zip. Nothing. All you need to do, sign up, say, hey, I'm interested in return of investment for SharePoint. I want to show my boss that I know what's happening. Download the WSP, add in your code that you get from us, and install. You will get the entire SharePoint Vitals for free. That's right, I'm not joking, it's for free. You can take this, walk away with it today, and for 30 days you can have access to all of the cool features. After 30-day trial, if you feel that you only need to have the top 10 views, then that's it. The only thing that comes in the enterprise cost is the export to Excel, the sitemap, and the geolocation. Why? Well, it's awesome, and we kind of need to have to pay for the development costs. Other than that though, it's free. So from my point of view, thank you very much for attending the SharePoint ROI, or as we've fondly grown known to it, ROI webinar. If you want SharePoint Vitals, hit up the GD Consult site. I will be sending out an email to all of the webinar attendees with a link to download and register for SharePoint Vitals. Remember, it works on 2007, 2010, 2013, Office 365. If you want any more information on how to get investment, how to get a return on investment on your solutions, chat to me, chat to Craig. My email address is on the slide right now. So is Craig's. Craig's before me because, well, Craig will respond faster. Other than that...
And talking about respond faster, there are actually one or two questions, Brad. So I don't know whether you want to take some of those.
Absolutely.
Can I read them out for you there? So just in terms of wrapping up here, a couple of questions coming through from some of the attendees. So the first one is there a way to track searches and search terms?
Very good question, and the answer is absolutely. What you can do in SharePoint Vitals, first of all, it's going to tell you when people hit the site and what they searched for. It's going to send SharePoint Vitals each one of those search terms. And after time, you can simply add that user in and find out what search term they went to, or you could go to the sitemap, open up search, and then start to click on the search terms that they search for. This will help you in a massive way. First of all, this means you can go into SharePoint search and you can start to tweak it based on those results, as well as add those certain items into a taxonomy to give you better filtering and metadata around certain items to make them more easily accessible. Great question.
Excellent. So I think from a user adoption point of view, that's awesome to find out exactly what people are looking for, and you can actually make it a lot easier by adding it to your front page and all the rest, or even put down instructions on where to find certain things. So the next question is around security. How is my data sent securely from my site to SP Vitals?
Another great question. Your data is not even going to SP Vitals. All we're sending to SP Vitals is the site that you hit, the time that you hit it, who you are when you hit it, and where you're coming in from. And this all goes into a very SharePoint, a Azure table storage that is 2056-bit encrypted. And it goes into the back end with your secret key that you'll get when signing up. And this information obviously is just data that is linked to a specific individual. So the beauty around it is it doesn't actually harness any of your internal data. So none of your documents, none of the site pages, nothing like that. It's just the information around the headers and footers of the site, so that we can understand, or SharePoint Vitals can understand what you're doing and what you're getting up to. But all of it is passed securely. No usernames or passwords are sent. No data is actually sent. Just the headers and footers of the information.
Okay, excellent. The next one is more around the heat map, and interesting question. If you're accessing your environment via VPN, where will the heat map show you're accessing the environment from?
Great question again. So you can, first of all, the plain and simple answer is it's going to show from the point of gateway entry via the internet. So if you connect via VPN and you've got to set to go through that gateway, it's going to go through that gateway. So if you connect to work VPN, it's going to go through your work gateway, right? So it's going to show you from work. However, if you're using another computer, we'll be able to, or SharePoint Vitals will be able to show you that this was accessed from another computer instead of an office computer. So you can automatically start to see as to where that information is from. So the big thing is, without having a pop-up every time you logged on to your SharePoint site to request you to say, yes, show my geolocation, we've had to use your IP. And we can use a local IP or we can use an external IP. But the bottom line is it will give us detailed information as to where you are connecting from, which gives us quite accurate information. If the information is not accurate, there is an admin panel that you can log into and change. So if you're saying that these specific individuals are logged in from a VPN, you can set that up internally to route them through a different gateway, which will then show that they are VPN users, and then you can see your office users as well. So there are ways and means to partition your users out via VPN.
Okay, great. The next one, actually interesting question. I got asked the same question in a demo last week. Can we configure which reports we want to see for certain views?
Absolutely. So the SharePoint Vitals at the moment has a number of different reports, but what I like is the export to Excel. And that gives you the flexibility to customize your reports to any which way you would like.
Okay, but so in terms of the roadmap going forward, though, in terms of building up a dashboard, would we be providing maybe the ability to choose which views you want to see on your dashboard?
Yes, so your landing page on SharePoint Vitals is fully customizable to you. If you be able to add and push and pull what items you want to see on your dashboard. SharePoint Vitals is going to be an ongoing, continuous development at GT, and we appreciate your feedback and your requests, and we'll put a full roadmap up as to what's going to be happening within the next year, and we'll roll out those as those requests come in. But that is a hot topic. Adding your own customized dashboard is definitely on top of our list.
Okay. And then can you just reiterate where people can get the trial from?
Absolutely. The trial is available. If you hit www.gtconsult.com and you check out the solutions and you check for SharePoint Vitals, you'll be able to request a download, and we'll send you through a code and username and password to get going, as well as with the Sandbox WSP that you can deploy to any SharePoint site collection.
Okay, and then the last question, what does KIF mean?
KIF is also known as cool, as awesome, as very lekker for the South Africans that don't know what KIF is. It is slang for South African slang for cool, I suppose.
I think that was tongue-in-cheek asked by one of the internal staff. But I think being the long weekend and everything, we're going to wrap up here. Any additional questions, we will send you responses to via email. And we will also be providing the video after this, so you can log on, watch the video again, get a better idea, or show it to other staff members and the like. So from my side, thank you very much. Brad, thank you very much for the presentation. As per usual, very entertaining and really, really great to see some of those tools out there.
Thank you very much, Craig. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter, BRADGCOZA, Brad. Brad G. Koza, if you need any questions answered. Thanks, Craig. Thank you all for attending. Have a great weekend.